7800 XT is a video card that does just about everything. And just like your mum, it's got the ability to drive me wild. If I could make just one blanket recommendation for a great GPU, it would be this one. So what kind of PC would I build for a bang for buck system that stands the test of time? Well, that's what this video is, sunshine. We're also building in a case that I've never used before, the Fractal Focus 2. It'll be fun, I promise. Roll the tape.
So you wanted a life. If you want it, then go out and get it. Thank you for the advice. Mama always said you gotta help yourself. But I'm feeling like a holiday. Life is getting old and nothing's ever really going my way. Not a lot of money in my bank, but won't you come along and play pretend? You and I get away from here. Tokyo, Dubai, or the Rose, yeah. Spending all our money like we're billionaires. Holiday lies, dropping tips like it's our career. Making up a life till it disappears. Living like our daddy had a real good year. Holiday lies, holiday lies. Holiday lies, holiday lies. Holiday lies, holiday. Grab the bull by the horns, I pet it. Every rose has a thorn, but flowers make me sneeze. It's the eye of the storm, but it doesn't really matter if I stay inside. I'm getting good at shutting off my brain. I know if I ignore it, I dramatically improve my day. Like I'm leaving on a holiday. Won't you come along and play pretend? You and I get away from here. Tokyo, Dubai, or the Rose, yeah. Spending all our money like we're billionaires. Holiday lies, dropping tips like it's our career. Making up a life till it disappears. Living like our daddy had a real good year. Holiday lies, holiday lies. Holiday lies, holiday lies. Holiday lies, holiday. I just need one. It's only one. I just need $1 million to get started. I just need one. It's only one. I just need $1 million. You and I get away from here. Tokyo, Dubai, or the Rose, yeah. Spending all our money like we're billionaires. Holiday lies, dropping tips like it's our career. Making up a life till it disappears. Living like our daddy had a real good year. Holiday lies, holiday lies. Holiday lies, holiday lies. Holiday lies, holiday lies.
Your mum, she's alright, Not bad, not a smoke show, just in between. The 6 out of 10 chick that's always down for a good time. And in a certain light, you might even say that she's hot stuff. That's how I feel about the Fractal Focus 2. It's got a lot going for it, but with just a couple of drawbacks that make you think twice. Great mesh, lovely 140mm fans up front, sleek design, very clean look, well built, very nice, and it's so close to being perfect for the £65 that I paid for it. It's got bags of room for even the largest GPUs, it's well ventilated, it's very easy to use. The problem? Cable management. It's really tough. There's no excess space to stuff your cables, which makes tidying your cables rather difficult. This is especially problematic when using sleeved extensions. This RTX 3060 build I did with the case was not easy to manage with the extensions. In today's build, it wasn't too bad. I used a modular power supply, so it worked out fine, and I wasn't using any cable extensions. You could use a non-modular, fully wired power supply in this case, but you'd probably have to cable tie all of the excess and keep it in that bottom part of the case. And because the PSU shroud is only just on the front of the glass, it doesn't cover the whole bottom, you'll actually be able to see those cables when you look into the case. Speaking of today's build, I think it came out really nicely, didn't it? I'm really a fan of this more minimal aesthetic. There's something calm and simple about it. It's whisper quiet as well, with no coil whine to speak of. The goal of this build was to create a system that can tackle most gaming workloads, as well as video editing and other computational tasks. And I wanted to do it at a mid-range price point that's a bit more relevant to most people. And I also didn't want to waste any of my budget if possible. I found that most people shop in that £600 to £1,200 or dollar range, and this build sits nicely in there, costing me about £1,158 in total. For that, you get a solid 1440p gaming PC that will last you for many years, as well as having the ability to create content and stream with no problems. But intros aside, let's go through each part of this build and why I chose that particular part. Starting with the video card, the RX 7800 XT. Now, I really love this GPU, and I got it at £475, which means in 2024 it is firmly mid-range price. But let me tell you, with 16 gigs of VRAM and fantastic 1440p performance, you don't really need much more than this for an amazing gaming experience. This thing absolutely crushes 1440p, and in many games 4K 60 FPS is a very real prospect as well. 16GB of VRAM, it gives you a bit of that longevity, great workstation capability, and it eases some of that VRAM anxiety that seems to be around at the moment. It can do AV1 encoding, which makes it excellent for streaming as well. I chose the Sapphire Pulse model because I'm sticking to the law of the cheapest model. On modern graphics cards, there's usually no point going for anything but the cheapest version of a graphics card, with the occasional exception. Zotac. Sorry, I don't know what came over me there. Anyway, this model is cool, quiet, and it has absolutely zero coil whine. The only thing not going in its favour is probably the aesthetics, which is what you might expect for a lower priced model. And when it comes to buying models that are above the MSRP or RRP, usually it's the looks that are going to be the thing, at least for me, that decides to get those cards over the cheaper ones. Onwards with the rest, and it would make sense to go to the CPU. We went for the Ryzen 5 7600, and at distributor level I paid £180 for this, which I think is about right. It's got a bit of room to come down, but for now it's pretty good. 6 cores, 12 threads, but the main benefit being on the latest AM5 platform, which means you've got plenty of longevity and upgrade potential for many years. Now, this is easily enough to keep up with the 7800 XT, which is what you want. And like I said, being on AM5, we've got years and years of upgrades in the tank as well. Cooling, you could use the stock cooler, but for just £18, this Thermalright Assassin X120 drops those temperatures and noise levels right down, as well as giving a little bit of added flair. It's definitely worth it to get these cheap coolers, especially Thermalright, which seems to be absolutely killing it at the moment. Really easy to install, and I think this cooler is absolutely a no-brainer. Now, the DRAM that we used is the most balanced memory that I can find out there right now. And I chose the word balanced, not because it's the fastest, not because it's the cheapest, because it's the best of both worlds. ADATA Lancer 32GB, DDR5, 6000 speed at CAS latency of 30. A great balance of speed, latency and price, and I got these for just under £100 at distributor level. There are faster kits available, yes. There are lower latency kits available, yes. But in terms of balancing that with the price and getting it into that mid-range price range, this is exactly the perfect kit that you want. Motherboard was the MSI B650 Gaming Plus Wi-Fi. And why did I choose this one? Not for any particular reason. It was simply the cheapest ATX B650 that had Wi-Fi and didn't look really awful. It really is that simple with motherboards. This board is more than enough and can easily handle Ryzen 7s if you fancied an upgrade down the line. And I'd take my chances with a Ryzen 9 in this as well if you really wanted to go that way. Storage was a special deal that you can't get now, unfortunately. SK Hynix P41 Platinum 2TB Gen 4 DRAM buffered SSD with 7000 megabyte read writes. And I got this for only £85, and that was an absolutely cracking bargain. That's probably not going to come around again. But this is a 2TB, you could get an equivalent 1TB for around the same price now, so you're going to keep it in that price range. Finally, the power supply was a Corsair RM750E. Now, you might think, out of this is a bit of a posh power supply, and you're right, but I use this because I got this from Corsair on a warranty return. So I sent them a CX650 or something, and they sent me back this RM750, which is pretty sweet, so I'm not going to turn that down. but I'd advise that you can actually spend a little bit less on the power supply if you're building it yourself. Any 750 watt bronze or better from a good brand will see you right. If you can have it modular, it does make the cables a lot easier to manage, but then that comes at the cost of an increased price. Something like a Deepcool PK750D, which is non-modular, would be a really good value pick for this kind of build. Now, over to you. Is there anything that you'd change in this build? Maybe you'd prefer to spend a bit more and get a 4070 Super instead? Tell me why in the comments. And also, tell me your thoughts on the Fractal Focus 2 case. Would you like me to share a PC part picker list for this build so that you can make it yourself? You've got to tell me though in the comments. So many questions, oh my god. I suppose I should probably calm it down, shouldn't I? Well, speaking of which, you'll want to see this video which has a similar spec but with an RTX 4070 instead, so then you can compare. So I'll see you in the next video, but until then chaps, I'll catch ya.